Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Abeer Lababenah, and I'm a board-certified behavioral analyst, registered behavioral analyst, and the founder of Nurest Center. At Nurest, we believe that every child thrives best in the environment where home and school work together, where learning, understanding, and emotional safety come first. In today's session, fostering a productive and fulfilling school year is about more than academic success. It's about building meaningful connections, promoting cooperation, and helping our children feel seen, supported, and capable. Together, we'll explore practical strategies to enhance cooperation, foster tolerance, and address behaviors that may interfere with learning, always with empathy and teamwork at the core. I invite you to reflect, share, and think about small shifts that can make a big difference in a child's day. Let's make this year not just productive, but truly fulfilling for our students, their families, and for us as educators and caregivers. Let's start our PowerPoint or our presentation. I will share the screen with you now. And let's see. Share screen. Okay. So, fostering a productive and fulfilling school year. Strategies for cooperation, tolerance, and positive behaviors by Abeer Lababenah. Let's start by talking about Nurest, your host. At Nurest, our mission is to create nurturing spaces where children grow through compassion, collaboration, and evidence-based practice. We believe learning flourish when families and educators work hand in hand. The purpose of this workshop is to strengthen partnership between parents and teachers and educators, ensuring that every child experiences emotional well-being, skill development, and a sense of belonging throughout the school year. Let's start by talking about the science of behaviors, because as a behavioral analyst, our work is based on evidence-based and based on the science of behavior and supported by the science of applied behavior analysis. All behavior serves a purpose. There's a function for each behavior. Children act for not just children. Everyone act for four main functions. Once we know the function of the behavior, we will know how to motivate this a child or students, how to change the behaviors, or how to modify these behaviors. So children act to gain attention. So they want attention, so they do certain activities or actions to gain attention, or avoid task, or escaping from a task. Access to items or tangible. They want something. They want snack, they want food, they want toy, they want something. Or seek sensory input, automatic reinforcement, something sensory, sometimes a hug, sometimes a squeeze. All of us, especially kids, we are acting based on these four functions. Understanding why behind behaviors help us teach new behaviors with new and positive skills instead of punishing misstep. By knowing why the child acting the way how he acted is helping me modify his behavior or teach him a new skill. How I can do this? That's specifically for teachers. Creating cooperative climate. How we can do this? By first, establish clear routine and expectation. Kids thrive on routines. They want to expect what's going to happen. They have anxiety, or they create anxiety if they did not know what's going on, what's next. So by creating a routine and expectation for the children, we make their life easier. They know what's going on. They know what's the next steps. So we set them for success. We need to reinforce efforts and cooperation with specific praise. We need to teach the kids how to have a natural consequences. We all work for consequences. Our life is based on consequences. So it's very important to reinforce the effort and cooperation, not just the results, not that just the outcome. Kids need to know that their efforts is praised, is seen, is heard. That's very important, not just the outcome. We need to offer structured choices to empower students. Give the students the power of choice. It's very, very important. Most of kids or children thrive when they have the power of choice. Sometimes we need to give them the choices, two choices that we are okay with both. It's not about controlling the situation. It's not about you have the last say. It's about the child learn how to choose. And that will create also problem solving skills, conflict resolution skills. That's all coming after that. So choices is powerful. We need to model empathy and calm responses during conflict. There are going to be so much conflicts between children. That's normal. How we can create or model the empathy so the child will mirror us. How we need to be calm ourselves with our responses, though the child will look at us as a role model. In this way, I can resolve conflict and at the same time create being a role model for the students. Now let's talk about some of the strategies for the parents. Encouraging cooperation at home. First of all, we need to use consistent routines and visual schedule. Helps the students so much to create routine, as we said, in the school and in the home. Chaos is bringing restless to the kids. Kids with chaos environment feel worried, did not know expectations. So creating a consistent routine and visual schedule will help them kind of prompt them. If they forget what's next step, they will have it by looking at the visual schedule. Visual schedule for brushing teeth, visual schedule for preparing meal, visual schedule for preparing themselves in the morning, in the afternoon. Sticking these visual schedules where it's accessible for the child to look and it will prompt them to do the right step. Second, offer limited, clear choices. For parents, clear choices is important. As we said, give the child the choice, but in the same time, we need to make it offer limited. Means you want to do the homework after or before the snack. So it's kind of you give them the choice, but by the end of the day, he need to do the homework. Raise efforts, not just outcome. This is something I always encourage parents to work on. We need to raise efforts, not just the outcome, not just, if the child works so hard, 2-3 hours studying for a test, and the end result is not exactly what you want, that doesn't mean he did not do what he had to do. He worked hard, he did his part. The results sometimes have different circumstances. So let's praise the efforts, because that's what creates a successful human being, not just the outcome. We need to keep communication calm and encouraging. We model for the child, as we said, as parents or as teachers. We need to be calm. We need to explain what we want, what we need in more calm and respectful way. And that will encourage the children to be more responsive, to express their feelings, to feel safe to express what they want. How we can fostering tolerance and inclusion. This is for teachers and parents. We need to highlight and celebrate diversity. We are thankfully we are in a community or in a country that's full of diversity, full of cultural different cultures, and it's enriching our children's experience and future. So by highlight and celebrate diversity, by explaining to them about diversity in cultures or in any other ways, that will help them understand that everyone is welcome, everyone is acceptable, everyone is right, everyone is welcomed. All these cultures, all this diversity, all these beliefs, all this point of view, all this, it's all inclusion. It will help them thrive. We need to model respectful listening and inclusive language. Using the inclusive language, that's very, very important. Teaching the children how to talk inclusively and model respectful listening. Teach them how to listen by listening to them. Address teasing or exclusion promptly with empathy. Teaching empathy is very, very important. How we need to teach them how to address teasing with empathy, explaining to them how their actions might affect other people's behavior. Teach children to see strength in differences. Differences will not create problems or issues. Differences always enriching our experiences. Teaching the children that this differences is your opportunity to learn more, to explore more, to understand more. When it comes to changing or when it comes to addressing challenging behaviors, modifying challenging behaviors, teaching new skills or new behaviors, and in the school environment or even in the home, with starting this new year, challenging behaviors, how we can look at it in more of a scientific way. First of all, as I said in the first slide, every behavior has a function or has a role. Knowing why he's doing what he's doing is helping me understanding his behavior. So identifying triggers and early signs of frustration. So before it become a meltdown, I need to learn how and identify what's the trigger for this child. And it's different between each person. What's the triggers? What the weak points? Early signs of frustration. So before it's meltdown, I will catch it when it's just, rumbling or discomfort or, somehow discomfort or somehow clear signs that there's something wrong. Before it goes back to meltdown and screaming and crying, and at that point I can't do anything until the child is calmed down. So identifying the trigger and early signs of frustration. We need to stay calm. Children mirror adults' emotion. If we panic, they're gonna panic. If we calm, they will be calm. So stay calm, address the situation with calmness. Redirect rather than punish. Teach coping skills. So instead of punishing the child, understanding why he's doing what he's doing and redirect him to the right behavior. I'm not saying don't make consequences, but even with consequences, let's not rely on punishing, because as much as it's might be a short solution, but it will not teach the child what's the proper behavior is. So redirect than punish and teach coping skills. Sometimes some behaviors is based on just anxiety or overwhelming or tired, or teaching the kids how to use coping skills helps so much de-escalate most of these behaviors. Keep responses consistent across home and school. Let's be working on the same page at home and at school and at the center too. So kids will not feel conflict. At home, their parents saying something, at school, they're saying something, at center, you're saying something else. In this case, kids will create, that will create some confusion for the kids. So in this case, if we be inconsistent in our responses, the children will feel like more familiar what they're expecting. Effective home-school communication. And this is a very important key in successful school year. We need to share updates regularly between home and school, not just when problem arises, not just when there's inappropriate behavior. Every day, if there's a log where the teachers can write their notes, students can take this to their parents, parents can look at it every day, sign it, make sure that we are on the same page. Use respectful, solution-focused language. Let's stop using the blaming language or pointing language. That will not get us anywhere. Use respectful and solution-focused language. That's the key. Sometimes it's not about who we're going to blame about the problem. It's about how we can fix this problem. Celebrate successes together. We as a center or school or home celebrate any successful progress, any successful steps that the children is doing or us. That's very encouraging. Treat families and educators as equal partners. Nobody is doing better part than the others. Students spending more time sometimes in school than at home. Parents do their best to help with the school, and school help with the parents. And so having a respectful relationship is a key. How I can build emotional regulation skills. And it's very, very important for a successful school year for kids to be self-regulated or emotionally regulated. First of all, encourage self-awareness. Help children be aware of themselves. When we say self-awareness is knowing they're being in tune with their feelings, with their thoughts, with their actions, knowing their strengths and weaknesses, accepting criticism, reflecting on their behaviors, knowing what they like and don't like, what they prefer and not prefer, what their interests, knowing what's triggered them. All these self-awareness, once the child know how to name his feelings, he will know how to deal with these feelings. Model calming technique, helping the child and teaching them how to use deep breathing, breaks, journaling. All these techniques help him with emotional regulation. Create safe spaces for children to express emotions, making sure that children are safe at home to express their feelings, their thoughts, their feelings, their thoughts, their emotions, and at school. Reinforce efforts to self-regulate. When a child expresses that he is trying his best to self-regulate, it's very important to encourage this, reinforce, celebrate. Encouraging independency and responsibility. That's another point that is very, very important. Let children make small choices and experience natural consequences. Very important for children to make these small choices and experience the natural consequences. Doing something and expecting what's the consequences, what's the results, cause and effects. And sometimes well, when they make these choices, they will know what they can do next time better or what they did good. So this will encourage independence. Break tasks into manageable steps. And that's very, very important in order for independence. When I break tasks into small, manageable steps, use visual schedule, use steps, and the kids can follow these steps, it's very important to create skills at the end and shape it to the best criteria that I want. Reinforce responsibility with encouragement, not pressure. It's very important to teach the kids how we can be responsible, but not pressured to be responsible. When being responsible is coming naturally, we encourage it, we enforce it, we celebrate it, so the kids can feel thrive, wants to be independent, wants to do, because he wants to have this this reinforcement or this treatment from their parents or teachers. Acknowledge progress openly. We always, as I mentioned in many slides before, always reinforce and acknowledge the progress. Even the smallest progress is very important to acknowledge, to make the children or the students see that their efforts is seen, heard. We see it, we know what you're doing, we encourage it. Maintaining motivation and engagement. Incorporate students' interest into learning. By knowing what's the student's interest, it's very important, because I can take this interest and incorporate it with the learning. And in this case, I will create more motivational situation for the kids to learn. This is something he likes. If he likes water, use water in the teaching certain skills or certain lesson. Recognize and celebrate progress, as we mentioned. Every progress is matter. Every progress is matter. Celebrate it and celebrate the efforts. Alternate effortful tasks with enjoyable ones. Make a differential between effortful tasks and enjoyable ones, so the kids will not feel overwhelmed, overworked, and also at the same time not feel that everything is lollipop and chocolate and vanilla. No, there's some hardship, but also there's enjoyable moments. Encourage fundamental motivation through curiosity and autonomy. It's very important to encourage motivation, and encourage how the kids being curious and celebrate curiosity and not feeling the kids that his curiosity is a burden. Now it comes to a very important part. With all this talking about the children, we need to talk about self-care for adults. We need for educators and parents to balance care for others with self-care. We need to take care by other students or children with us. If I don't take care of myself, my cup will be empty. I can't help. I need to help myself. I need to be well taken care of, to care about my kids or my students. Practice gratitude and mindfulness, being in the present moment, being mindful of this successful moment, and trying not to think about the past or the future, trying to live this moment and have a gratitude that we are in this moment, we are living this moment. Build a supportive community with peers. Try to help each other, support each other. Family, community, it takes a village to raise a kid. Model calmness and resilience. Children learn most by example. If they teach us, if they saw us, if they see us calm and resilience, they will try to be like us. So important to model calmness and resilience. And inspirational quote here: when we nurture connection, learning blooms. It's all about connections. It's all about good communication. It's all about helping nurture our children and look at them, wait for them to bloom. Together, we plant the seeds of growth, understanding, and resilience. As we come to the end of today's session, I want to thank each of you for being here, for your openness, your care, and your shared commitment to helping children grow. What truly shapes a fulfilling school year isn't just the lessons or routines we create, but the relationships we build between teachers and students, between families and school, and between all of us who care deeply about children's well-being. Every act of patience, every moment of understanding, every small adjustment we make, these are the seeds that nurture confidence, cooperation, and compassion. Remember, we are not working on separate sides. We are partners in the same journey. Together, we plant the seeds of growth, understanding, and resilience, and together we watch them bloom. Thank you for being part of this important work and for all that you do to make differences in lives of children. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you next time in a next webinar. I hope you enjoy this webinar.